Oh boy, I get to finally talk about my favorite player in all of NPB. The subject of today's story is perhaps one of the most talented men to ever play baseball, and very well may have lit MLB on fire if the notorious age 27 agreement were not in place between the two leagues on both sides of the Pacific. He would enter history as the man who held the longest consecutive games played streak in the history of NPB, and the first man in world professional baseball to break Lou Gehrig's consecutive games played record of 1939. Our hero overcame everything from racism to alcoholism, dreadfully long slumps, and of course, horrifying injury. Playing through all of it 2,215 consecutive times. Welcome to the tale of Tetsujin on this episode of Global Baseball's Finest. Tetsujin's story begins in Higashiyama Ward in Kyoto, in the wake of World War II. A handsome African-American serviceman meets a young, gorgeous Japanese girl while stationed in the city, during the U.S. Army's occupation. In an eerie parallel to the story of Madame Butterfly, though, he leaves the country upon finding out she was pregnant. She was forced to raise her baby boy alone. The boy, in his early schooling, was ridiculed relentlessly for looking different, being born mixed race, and therefore not fully Japanese. Even after he became a ball player, his team's general policy, as well as that of the press, was not to mention his father. Not even his biographers talked about it, respecting his wishes. He did still hold out hope for his entire career that one day his dad would notice his accomplishments and make contact, even according to his roommate, studying English every night to prep for a future meeting with his father. Despite his early troubles, Tetsujin became a baseball star at the highly touted Heian High School after giving up judo in elementary school. The Hiroshima Carp signed him out of high school in 1965 as a backup first baseman, but he struggled in the limited action that he had. Turning to the drink in the latter half of the decade, he had an episode in 1970 that would turn things around for him. Regulars on the Carp would be forced to take BP the night after every game. Tetsujin was hitting it a little too hard one night and ended up breaking down in tears midway through his session in the cage. From that point on, he would never miss a BP session again and became famous for skipping nights out to take batting practice. Not long after, he became the regular third baseman for the Carp and began the games played streak that would make sure everyone in Japan would know Tetsujin, otherwise known by his given name, Sachio Kinugasa. For the next 15 years, Kinugasa would finish in the top 10 of almost every major offensive category. He regularly showed off all 5 tools every single game of every single week for the fans in Hiroshima. Sachio became known for his very unique blend of power and speed displayed at the plate. And as a matter of fact, he is one of 2 players to finish his NPB career with 500 plus home runs and 300 plus stolen bases. The other being the central character of last week's episode, Isao Harimoto. Despite his skills, he was prone to long slumps, holding on to his roster spot by way of his glove. Most believe the reason for this was his propensity for very long, aggressive swings, very much in the American swing for the fences or miss entirely style of batting. He caught flack for not having a uniquely Japanese approach at the plate, and many attributed it to his American blood, becoming one more source of derision levied against Kinugasa. He made the best 9 of Central League for the first time in 1975, but he slumped in the playoffs, leading in part to the Carp's Japan Series loss that year. He slumped again in 1979, but this time the Carp ended up winning the Japan Series. Outside of his slumps, though, Kinugasa would regularly finish with 25 to 30 plus home runs and 10 plus stolen bases, as well as 70 plus RBIs, striking out a mere 1,587 times throughout his career. And in terms of stats we love here at GBN, Sachio's 7 Grand Slams rank him in the top 5 in that category in NPB. He hit 3 in 1983 alone. Kinugasa's best year came in 1984, batting .329 with 30 home runs, 102 RBIs, 11 stolen bases, and a .579 slugging percentage. He was awarded with a Central League MVP award for his trouble, and hit 3 bombs in the Carps Japan Series loss to the Seibu Lions that year. In the midst of all of this, he played in every game of every season for 17 years. He famously said after being hit by a pitch in 1979, "If I had played and swung the bat, the pain in my shoulder would last only an instant. If I had to stay home and watch the game on TV, it hurt all over for 3 hours." His streak would end with the final game of the 1987 season, in which Sachio hit a home run in his final at-bat, allowing him to end his career with his record-breaking games played streak intact. The fans loved him for this, his perfectionism, and of course, his loyalty, never once entertaining the possibility of changing teams throughout his 23-year career. A career that ended with him finishing in the top 10 of NPB's all-time home run, hits, extra base hits, and RBI categories. Sachio had a quiet life in retirement, but made sure he was on hand at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City on the night of June 13, 1996, for Orioles shortstop Cal Ripken Jr. to break his streak in MLB. Cal and Sachio became friends, and Sachio would be in attendance the night of Cal's final game in 2001 as well. The two Iron Men would work together as baseball ambassadors in Japan throughout the 2000s and 2010s, until Sachio passed away from colon cancer in 2018. Kinugasa's legendary career shows once again how incredible players are always forged by adversity. Though he was never the league leader in any of the major offensive categories during his NPB career, he didn't win as many awards, and he never got all that much press. He was beloved by the fans of Hiroshima and baseball fans throughout Japan for his inspiring story and for showing so many young ball players on both sides of the Pacific, including this one, that repetition and determination are the greatest assets a person can have in baseball. So we're through about 5 episodes of Global Baseball's Finest so far this season, and I want to know, so let me know in the comments down below of all these videos that you've seen, and if you've got a favorite already even before seeing this series, let me know who your favorite player is, favorite baseball story basically, in all of World Baseball, down there in those comments down below. I'm eager to see what y'all think. I'm eager to see what y'all have really resonated with. I mean, obviously I have all my favorites, and I want to know what yours are. So again, do let me know in those comments down below. As for today, though, please do like and share this video if you enjoyed it, and you know somebody who'd enjoy it right along with you. Subscribe and hit that bell icon down there beneath the video screen to make sure that you're getting your fix all about the world's greatest game. I've been Marshall Emmert. This has been another episode of Global Baseball's Finest. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one, but for now, that's the game.